General Hospital spoilers reveal that finally, the information about the person who burned down Sonny's apartment has been confirmed, sending a huge shockwave through all of Port Charles. It wasn't Valentine, it wasn't Sidwell, and surprisingly, it wasn't Brennan, the person most people had suspected. The true culprit behind the bombing is an enigmatic character controlling everything from behind the scenes, someone even Brennan must obey. Brennan, despite holding a powerful position in the WSB, is facing incredible changes within himself. The man known for his coldness, calculated behavior, and control is gradually losing his calm demeanor as his real boss tightens the grip. New signs of madness are beginning to appear in Brennan's behavior, sudden panic attacks, impulsive decisions, and even signs of regret, all pointing to him losing control under the mounting pressure. Those closest to Brennan have begun to notice these changes. Carly, who has developed deep feelings for him, frequently catches Brennan in a state of panic, sweating, trembling, and even mumbling to himself when he thinks no one is watching. When she tries to understand the cause, Brennan always redirects the conversation or gives unconvincing explanations about work pressure. But Carly, with her keen instincts, knows that something deeper is going on. One of the new pressures weighing on Brennan is facing the truth that he is just a pawn in a much larger game. Every action he has taken in Port Charles, from approaching Carly to monitoring Sonny, is part of a plan devised by his mysterious boss. This puts Brennan in a difficult position, especially since he has genuinely developed feelings for Carly, something that wasn't part of the original plan. In private moments, Brennan has begun to question his loyalty. He has spent his entire career serving the WSB and his mysterious boss, believing they were working for a greater good. But when he witnesses the destruction caused by the bombing, not just to Sonny, but also to Michael and the Corinthos family, Brennan begins to wonder if he's on the right side. These doubts only grow stronger as his feelings for Carly deepen. The emerging dangerous change in his character is shaking the entire power structure in Port Charles. Brennan's real boss, a figure even the most powerful people in the underworld fear, is beginning to emerge from the shadows. This person not only has power in the WSB but also extensive influence within the government and international criminal organizations. What's even more terrifying is the personal connection this person has to Port Charles, a deep-seated grudge against Sonny Corinthos that spans decades. Clues about the identity of this mysterious boss start to surface when Spinelli, with his genius computer skills, uncovers a series of secret financial transactions linking the WSB to a covert organization called Chimera. This name recalls an old project that Jason and Sam had investigated years ago, involving a highly dangerous biological weapon. As Spinelli digs deeper, he discovers that the leader of Chimera is linked to the Cassadine family, and might even be a long-lost member of the family. The madness escalates as Brennan's boss begins to make bolder moves. No longer content with operating from behind the scenes, this figure starts reaching out directly to people in the city, including Jason Morgan and Carly Spencer. Each encounter leaves behind clues about a much bigger plan unfolding, a plan that targets not just Sonny but the entire power structure in Port Charles. Jason, the first to meet this mysterious person at an abandoned warehouse at the docks, describes a tall man with cold blue eyes and a long scar running down the left side of his face. This man delivers a warning to Jason, tells Sonny this is just the beginning. Everything he's built, everyone he loves, will all be destroyed. And when he has nothing left, when he's completely alone, I will tell him why. Carly, in a private meeting at the Metro Court, doesn't see this man's face but hears his voice, a voice she describes as strangely familiar, like from a dream or a distant memory. He leaves Carly with a chilling message: Brennan is not who he claims to be. Be careful who you trust, Carly. Not all enemies are obvious. And not all friends are loyal. As things continue to unfold, Brennan is increasingly trapped between loyalty to his boss and his growing feelings for Carly. He knows that if he refuses to follow orders, the consequences will be deadly, but if he continues with the plan, he will have to betray the woman he has truly fallen for. This is a no-win situation, and it is pushing Brennan to the brink of mental collapse. In a moment of weakness, Brennan reveals part of the truth to Carly. admitting that he originally came to Port Charles with a specific mission but has developed real feelings for her. However, he still doesn't reveal the identity of his boss or the full scope of the plan. Carly, with her survival instincts honed over years of living in Sonny's world, begins to question every aspect of her relationship with Brennan, wondering whether his feelings are truly genuine or just part of a larger scheme. Sonny, after learning of the person behind the bombing, has begun mobilizing all resources to identify this mysterious enemy. He has contacted old allies, including Julian Jerome and Ava Jerome, hoping their extensive network can provide useful information. At the same time, he has stepped up security for his family, especially Michael, who narrowly avoided being a victim of the bombing. Jason and Spinelli are tirelessly working to follow every lead. They have started connecting the dots between the bombing, the WSB, Chimera, and the Cassadine family. Each clue brings them closer to the truth but also puts them in greater danger as they face one of the most powerful organizations in the world. As Port Charles braces for the next wave of violence, the question is no longer who burned down Sonny's apartment, but who will be the next target of this mysterious boss. And whether Brennan will have the courage to stand up against the man he has served throughout his career. One thing is certain, the power struggle in Port Charles is just beginning. And no one can predict who will be left standing when it's all over. Meanwhile, the mysterious boss continues to move his pieces on the chessboard. He has started reaching out to others in the city, including Valentine Cassadine, who has a complex connection to the WSB and the Cassadine family. The meeting between them, held at a secret location on the outskirts of Port Charles, leaves Valentine in a state of panic, something rare for the usually calm and confident man. As the puzzle pieces are slowly revealed, a terrifying truth begins to emerge. This mysterious enemy is not just targeting Sonny out of a personal grudge, but has a much larger plan for Port Charles, one that could forever alter the face of the city and the lives of everyone living there. As winter approaches and storms begin to threaten the coastline, Port Charles is preparing for another storm, a storm of violence, betrayal, and secrets revealed. And at the center of this storm is Brennan, a man torn between the past and present, duty and love, loyalty and conscience. His final decision could determine the fate of everyone in Port Charles. A letter has arrived in Sonny's hands, bearing shocking information that has rocked his entire world. The letter, sent from an undisclosed address in Berlin, Germany, confirms what Sonny had never dared to hope but never completely gave up on. Morgan, the son he thought he had lost years ago in a car bombing, is still alive and is the one who sent the mysterious information about the person behind the bombing of Sonny's apartment. The letter, written in handwriting Sonny immediately recognizes as his son's, details how Morgan survived the explosion, lost his memory, and was saved and trained by a covert organization. Over the years, as his memory slowly returned, Morgan began investigating his past and discovered the larger conspiracy targeting the Corinthos family, a conspiracy led by Brennan's mysterious boss. One of the new shocks concerns the imposition Morgan endured over the years. The letter reveals that Morgan was placed in a secret training program, where he was reconditioned into a perfect agent, emotionless, memoryless, and completely loyal to the organization. This process included the use of brainwashing techniques and experimental drugs, many of which caused severe side effects to Morgan's pre-existing bipolar disorder. The bigger story is slowly being revealed as Morgan explains how he has regained his sense of self and begun to remember his family. However, instead of immediately reaching out to them, Morgan chose to remain within the organization to learn more about their plans and try to protect his family from the inside. This is why he sent the anonymous information about the bombing, hoping to warn Sonny without revealing his identity. As the new plot thickens, the letter reveals a frightening truth. Morgan is not the only one from Port Charles who was saved and reconditioned by this organization. There are others, people thought to be dead, who are also working for this organization, some of whom have even returned to Port Charles with new identities and secret missions. The new tangled story is confirmed as Morgan reveals that he has controlled Michael in Germany. According to the letter, Morgan discovered that Michael was investigating some suspicious ELQ business transactions in Berlin, transactions that inadvertently brought him closer to uncovering the covert organization. In order to protect his brother, Morgan had to act quickly. He kidnapped Michael, kept him at a safe location, and tried to convince him of the danger he was in. However, the danger to Michael is confirmed when Morgan reveals that the organization has discovered his actions and has sent a team of agents to deal with both Morgan and Michael. The letter ends with an urgent warning. Sonny must act quickly if he wants to save both of his sons. Morgan provides the coordinates of the location where he is holding Michael, along with a code only Sonny knows to confirm his identity when they meet. When Sonny finishes reading the letter, he immediately contacts Jason and Carly. The news that Morgan is alive completely devastates Carly, a mix of joy, disbelief, and fear for the safety of both her sons. Jason, ever the level-headed one, starts planning a rescue mission but also expresses caution about the authenticity of the letter. Sonny, though he has doubts, knows deep down that this is truly his son. The code Morgan mentioned, the Day of the Ducks, is a private memory between the two of them that no one else knows, about a day they fed ducks at the park when Morgan was young, just before his bipolar disorder was diagnosed. As Sonny, Jason, and a small group of trusted individuals prepare to head to Berlin, they know they are entering enemy territory. But with both of Sonny's sons in danger, there is no other choice. Meanwhile, Carly faces a tough decision. Should she reveal the letter and their plan to Brennan, or keep it secret from the man she has grown deeply attached to but is now unsure if she can trust? As everything continues to unfold, one thing is clear. The fight for Port Charles has become a global battle, with secrets, people returned from the dead, and plots far beyond anything anyone could imagine. And at the center of all this is Morgan Corinthos, a man who has lost everything but still fights to protect his family, even if it means facing the most dangerous organization he has ever known. Jason and Sonny are preparing to leave Toronto for Germany, where they hope to find Morgan and Michael. This trip has been planned in complete secrecy, with only a small group of the most trusted individuals aware of their actual destination. Sonny told Carly that they were heading to Chicago to meet a business partner, while Jason informed Sam that he was going on a job for Sonny without revealing any details. This secrecy was necessary, especially since they didn't know who might be the eyes and ears of the mysterious organization in Port Charles. The upcoming confrontation between Sonny and Morgan was actually causing one of the new adjustments in their plan. Initially, Sonny intended to go to the designated location alone, relying entirely on the letter and the code that only he and Morgan knew. However, Jason convinced Sonny that this was too risky, especially with so many unknowns about Morgan's current situation and the extent of control the secret organization might have over him. One of the new adjustments involved how they would approach Morgan. Instead of meeting him directly at the designated location, Jason proposed a more complicated plan. They would set up surveillance around the area, with Spinelli operating remotely, to assess the situation before approaching. Meanwhile, they would also prepare a second safe location to take Morgan and Michael if things didn't go as planned. One of the new developments involved a special request Morgan had made in the letter. He asked Sonny to bring a specific medication, a bipolar disorder drug that Morgan had used before dying. According to Morgan, the organization had stopped providing him with the drug as a way to better control him, and he needed it to maintain his mental stability. This request led Sonny and Jason to approach Kevin Collins to get a prescription without raising too many questions. However, this request puts Sonny in a dangerous position when new information from Spinelli confirmed that Morgan had been brainwashed and programmed to kill Sonny. Spinelli, through his genius computer skills, had hacked into the WSB's system and discovered a classified file named Project Phoenix, a special training program aimed at turning people believed to be dead into perfect assassins, with the goal being their loved ones. According to the documents Spinelli found, Morgan had undergone an extensive brainwashing process using a combination of psychological techniques, experimental drugs, and even advanced neural implant technology. This process erased most of his memories of his family and replaced them with false memories of betrayal and abandonment. Specifically, Morgan had been programmed to believe that Sonny had deliberately placed a bomb to kill him in order to protect his criminal empire. even more concerning. The medication Morgan requested was not the bipolar disorder drug he claimed it was. According to Spinelli's analysis of the chemical formula, it was actually an activation drug designed to trigger the programming deep within Morgan's mind when used. If Sonny brought this drug and Morgan used it, he would turn into an emotionless killing machine, with the sole goal of eliminating Sonny. When Jason received this information from Spinelli, he immediately changed the plan. Instead of carrying the real drug, they would bring a counterfeit that looked exactly the same but lacked the activation ingredients. At the same time, they would also prepare an antidote that Kevin had helped synthesize, hoping it could help Morgan break free from the programming. As Sonny and Jason boarded the plane to Berlin, they knew they were stepping into an extremely dangerous situation. Not only was there the risk from the secret organization, but also from Morgan himself, the very person they were trying to save. However, Sonny remained determined to go through with it. As he told Jason before they boarded the plane, "I've lost Morgan once. I won't lose him again. Even if that means facing danger from my own son." As the plane took off, Sonny looked out the window, wondering whether he could save both of his sons or if he would have to face an unimaginable choice between them. And somewhere in Berlin, Morgan was waiting. His mind a battlefield between true and false memories, between love and hate, between who he truly was and who the organization had turned him into. As night fell over Berlin, a fateful confrontation awaited, a confrontation that could reunite a broken family or destroy what remained of it. Sonny would carry out a dramatic rescue in Berlin, marking one of his rare victories in the battle against the mysterious organization. With Jason's help and a carefully chosen team of mercenaries, Sonny infiltrated the secret facility where Morgan was holding Michael. The raid took place on a stormy night, with thunder and lightning providing the perfect backdrop for one of the most dangerous missions Sonny had ever undertaken. The confrontation between Sonny and Morgan was an emotional and tense moment. When Sonny finally faced the son he thought he had lost years ago, he was not met with the Morgan he knew, but with a cold and dangerous version of his son. Morgan, with vacant eyes and a monotone voice, tried to follow his programming by attacking Sonny. However, instead of responding with violence, Sonny chose to talk to his son, reminding him of their shared memories, of the love of their family, and of who Morgan truly was. In a breakthrough moment, when Sonny mentioned Duck Day, a private memory Morgan had mentioned in the letter, a spark of awareness appeared in Morgan's eyes. The intense inner struggle ensued as Morgan fought against his programming, with real memories gradually breaking through the false ones the organization had implanted. Finally, with the help of the antidote Kevin had prepared, Morgan was temporarily able to break free of the control, allowing Sonny and Jason to rescue Michael, who was being held in a nearby cell. The escape from the facility was a race against time, as the alarm system had been triggered and the organization's security forces were in pursuit. With the sacrifice of several mercenaries, Sonny, Jason, Morgan, and Michael made it to the private airport, where a plane was waiting to take them back to the United States. As the plane took off, Morgan looked down at the city of Berlin for the last time, knowing that he had escaped the hell he had lived in for years, but also knowing that his battle with the programming and the organization was far from over. Morgan and Michael's return to Port Charles created an emotional wave throughout the city. Carly, finally reunited with the son she thought she had lost, went through a range of emotions from shock, disbelief, to overwhelming joy and deep concern. The Corinthos family's reunion was a touching moment, with Avery and Donna, the siblings Morgan had never met, finally meeting the brother they only knew through pictures and stories. However, the joy of the reunion was overshadowed by the reality that Morgan was still not fully free from the organization's control. The antidote was only temporary, and Morgan continued to struggle with the voices and images in his head, urging him to complete his mission. Kevin and a team of leading psychologists and neurologists had been brought in to help Morgan, but the process of deprogramming would be a long and painful battle, with steps forward and setbacks. Meanwhile, the mastermind behind Brennan had not given up. Through Brennan, he was still carrying out strong new actions against Sonny and his family. Brennan, although developing real feelings for Carly, was still forced to obey his master's orders. He had begun gathering information about Morgan's condition, the new security measures Sonny had implemented, and the daily routines of the Corinthos family. The mastermind's new actions included deploying more spies into Port Charles, some of whom had infiltrated key positions in the city, from the hospital where Morgan was being treated to the police department, where valuable information about Sonny's activities could be obtained. At the same time, he had also begun a psychological campaign against Sonny, sending mysterious messages and unsettling gifts, reminders that although Sonny might have regained his sons, the battle was far from over. This continued to put Sonny and his loved ones in danger. Although Morgan and Michael had been rescued, the threat from the mysterious organization remained, and it may have even increased after their failure in Berlin. Sonny knew that he couldn't let his guard down, especially with Morgan still vulnerable to the control of the programming. Jason, always the family's reliable protector, had increased security around all the Corinthos family members. He had also started his own investigation to determine the identity of the mysterious mastermind. With the help of Spinelli and even Valentine, who seemed to have valuable information about the organization from his time with the WSB. As Port Charles continued to face the threat from the mysterious organization, one thing was clear: this war was far from over. Sonny may have achieved an important victory by rescuing Morgan and Michael, but he knew that the mastermind would not give up easily. And with Brennan still close to Carly, with Morgan still struggling with his programming, and with the organization's spies still operating in the city, the danger remained ever present. As autumn arrived in Port Charles, bringing cold winds and falling leaves, a sense of unease swept over the city. This was just the calm before the storm, and as the mysterious mastermind continued to move his pieces, only time would tell who would emerge victorious in this battle for power.